This is the Nivada Grenchen Depthmaster Purple Ghost. It's an exclusive limited edition here in the United States, and it is only available from Exquisite timepieces. In fact, if you flip the watch over and take a look at the case back, you'll see Nivada Grenchen, X, and then the Exquisite timepieces logo there, as well as the engraved number of the production run, which is only 50 pieces. So it's quite limited, it's very exclusive, and it's very interesting. I like several things about this watch, and in this video, I will share my opinions about the good, about the not so good, and hopefully in showing you the details, I give you some more information to help you make a good informed decision on whether or not you want to add this interesting retro-inspired design that has a few surprises up its sleeve. Now, that first surprise is the fact that this watch has 1,000 meters of water resistance, which really, if you think about, is a ridiculous value. It's far deeper than you will ever realistically go, even if you professionally dive or saturation dive. And why that's surprising is you look at this and it's fairly unassuming. It clocks in at 39 millimeters in case diameter. There is no water resistance value being boasted about on the dial. And again, it's a vintage-inspired design. The original Depthmaster debuted in 1965. So you don't expect to see a helium release valve and 1,000 meters of water resistance. But this watch, as well as that original from decades ago, has that water resistance value, which again is fairly surprising. Now I look at this case and I see Panerai vibes. I pick up 1940s radio mirror. I pick up some 1950s Luminor. I really like this cushion case. I like the polishing. I like the brushing. But what kind of throws me is the fact that this is so small. 39 millimeters doesn't sound all that small, but when you have a Panerai-esque case, that's a small case. I'm used to Panerai at 45, 47, even 49 millimeters in case diameter. So the fact that this is sub 40, it just kind of messes with my perception a little bit. But the watch is comfortable. The watch is sharp. It's not too tall. And considering it has all that water resistance, I think that's pretty impressive. Now, I do like this dial. This is a gunmetal fume gray that dithers out to almost black at the circumference of the dial. It has a nice sunray application, and I think the gray hues play very nicely with the purple of the applied markers and the handset. Now, speaking of the markers, we have the old school Pac-Man style font here, which is very stylized, but also very interesting. In natural light, again, the look is purple, but in low light, that purple glows green. It is super luminova. Now, one other thing that I think is great about this Depthmaster Purple Ghost exclusive edition for Exquisite is the fact that the dial is so simplistic. It's very balanced. I think it's very strong. There is no date to break up this dial symmetry. And then we only have the branding, Nivada Grenchen, Depthmaster, the model name, and Swiss below the 6 o'clock Pac-Man marker. And I love how simple it is. The color, the texture, the form becomes the star of the show, and it's not cluttered up with text for the sake of tradition. So I look at this and I wish more vintage-inspired watches would be this simplistic and only have Swiss or only have the model name or the branding. I think that's very strong, but you might not agree with me. I recognize I'm more of a minimalist than the average watch collector. All of these dial details are visible under a box-shaped sapphire crystal, and that crystal has inner-applied anti-reflective treatment. So it doesn't minimize all reflections. It does cut them down a bit, and it enhances the clarity. So I can see the leaf elongated style seconds hand that's bright orange to a greater degree of clarity, as well as the other lovely dial details. So I think that's a positive thing. Now, inside the watch is a sop rod movement. So this is called a P024. It's based on a 2824 from ETA. In fact, it has the same 25 joule count, the same Inca block shock protection system, the same 4 hertz beat frequency, and the same rather disappointing 38 hours of power reserve. And I was curious about the level of decoration. Now, being the fact that this is a loaner from Exquisite Timepieces, I didn't open up the case back to view the decoration level, but I did look online to other Nivada Grenchen models that carry the same caliber, and those ones have a decent amount of decoration. I wouldn't say that they're decorated, but I wouldn't say that they're undecorated. The movements have a frosted type of matte finish with some striping on the rotor, and then blued screws, which I think looks really nice. So that's the movement within this watch. It's placed on a black Tropic style rubber strap, though it's not branded Tropic. I think this is a fitting pairing considering the fact that the original Depthmaster debuted in 1965. And so this would be a period authentic type of strap to place it on. So I like the look. The strap is ventilated, it's comfortable, it's nice and long. It comes with quick release spring bars. And I think the overall case dial is versatile. You know, this would look great on a NATO strap. I think this would look great on a polished Milanese mesh that would tie in nicely with this bezel insert that is stainless steel. It would add a level of light play and weight that would be very pleasant. I will say that this watch retails for $1,185, and considering the dial work, considering the movement, considering, the case and everything, I think it's solid. But the fact that there's no bracelet and a couple other minor things, I think the value proposition could be stronger. But I say that as a watch fan who looks for perfection in every watch purchase. So I don't think it's egregious, but I am left wanting a little more here and there. Let me know what you think about the value proposition, and let me know if you have any specific questions about this watch. I'll close with a couple things. First is the bezel action. It has a pleasant mechanical sound. It has a rather springy feel. It's easy to grip, and I do like the fact that the bezel is one piece of stainless steel. I think it has a rather industrial type of look that looks really nice, and it emphasizes the purple, the orange, and the fume gunmetal that's found on the dial. I would say that the bezel is average for the price. It's not class leading, but it's not egregiously bad to where I'm left wanting more, which is important when you're buying a dive watch. The bezel action, that tactile feel, really makes a good difference when it comes to your perception of a product. And then finally, let me give you the wrist shot. For reference, my wrists are 7.25 inches in circumference, and I could totally rock this on a daily basis. But it comes down to that case, that Panerai-esque type of design. I would like to see this larger, even though that would not be in keeping with the original Depthmaster from 1965. Personal preference dictates a larger, more hefty, a more noticeable case when it comes to this design. But let me know what you think about that. On the whole, I like a lot of things about this watch. I like the simplicity of the dial. I really enjoy those Pac-Man style applied markers, the purple tone, the fume color, the finishing on the case, the ARC on the sapphire crystal, the versatility of the overall design, and that surprising amount of water resistance. That's quite an interesting combination. Does have some room for improvement, like I mentioned earlier in the video. Let me know what you think about the watch. As of the time of recording this video and posting it on YouTube, there are still some spots available for this limited run of 50 pieces that is exclusive to Exquisite Timepieces. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out to my personal sales associate, Joe. I'll leave his contact information below. And you're welcome to name drop me. You're welcome to say that Bruce sent you. And if you enjoyed this watch fan perspective type of video where I try to focus in on the details, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post reviews like this all the time. Everything from obscure micro brands to entry-level luxury watches like Longines to luxury watches like Omega, Breitling, Rolex, to some high horology pieces on occasion. I try to bring the variety. I try to focus in on the details and share my perspective as a watch fan. So if you like this type of content, I post every few days. Please subscribe. Thanks.